Hello, my name is Ella Lewis, and for my experimental design project, I decided to examine the plant growth with the use of fertilizer versus without the use of fertilizer. I hypothesized that if I add fertilizer to a pot of zinnias and marigolds, then it will make them grow faster than the pots without the fertilizer. The purpose of this experiment is to learn and see if fertilizer will speed up plant growth through analyzing zinnias and marigolds. The objective of this is to test the growth of the plants through measuring growth weekly, and after taking time to analyze, graphs will be created to visually see the results. So for my methods, this study was conducted to test the effective use of fertilizer versus no use of fertilizer inside my home, which is located in Fayetteville, North Carolina. For this experiment, I selected two species of flowers that would grow relatively fast from seeds, marigolds and zinnias. Then I made sure to get two medium-sized pots and then filled them up about 3/4 full of dirt and planted 6 seeds of each flowers. I planted the zinnias on the left side of the pot and the marigolds on the right side of the pot. To remember which flowers were where, I used a marker and wrote a Z on the left side of the pot and then an M on the right side of the pot. I used a measuring cup to measure 1/4 cup of regular tap water to water the flowers every other day, starting the day that I planted them. The left pot would test the effectiveness of fertilizer and the right pot would not. Before I could use the fertilizer, however, the instructions on the seed packet said to wait 10 to 15 days so that the seeds could germinate. I waited 15 days until the germination period was over and then sprinkled some fertilizer to the left pot using the Miracle-Gro instructions to determine how much fertilizer was needed. I put the two pots in a window where the flowers would be able to get sunlight. Every other day, I measured each flower with a ruler in centimeters to track the growth. I recorded this data in a Google Sheet. With time, I was able to analyze which flowers grew faster, the one with the fertilizer or the one without. I was also able to look at which species of flowers responded better to this procedure through observations. I made sure to record my observations on a piece of paper and would also take pictures weekly to show the growth progress. So my results. Based on the data that I collected, the right pot without fertilizer grew faster and healthier looking flowers. I planted 6 seeds of each flower in each pot, and the left pot ended up having less flowers surviving than the right pot did. In the beginning, with the use of fertilizer, more zinnia flower seeds sprouted. However, they eventually died and only one survived. Figures 2 and 3 show this. Surprisingly, out of all 6 seeds planted, only one marigold grew with the use of fertilizer, but then died unexpectedly. The right pot without the use of fertilizer yielded more flowers with a healthier growth. 5 flowers grew, but only 2 flowers ended up surviving. In total, the zinnias with the use of fertilizer ended up averaging a 6.5 growth in height centimeters. The marigolds with the use of fertilizer averaged a 6.1 growth in height in centimeters. The zinnias without the use of fertilizer averaged a 9.2 growth in centimeters. And lastly, the marigolds without the use of fertilizer averaged a 4.6 growth in height. The results did not end up supporting my hypothesis. And as you can see in this graph in figure 1, I simply compiled all of my flowers for each species and pot and used the averages to be able to see the trend on the growth of the flowers. The first image shows the flowers at the beginning of the experiment, and the second image in figure 3 shows the flowers at the very end of the experiment. So as you can see, there's definitely started off with more flowers that have sprouted, and by the very end of the experiment, not very many were there anymore. So my results did not end up supporting my hypothesis, as I said previously in the last slide. The findings showed that the pot without the fertilizer yielded more seeds that sprouted and seemed to be healthier flowers. The marigolds seemed to respond better than the zinnias did, since more survived and consistently grew with the use of fertilizer. According to Rich and Tech, if too much fertilizer is used, then there can be adverse effects. As long as using fertilizer moderately and accurately, it can help plants grow more efficiently. So this shows that in comparison to other research articles, research shows that fertilizer can be proven to be effective. In addition, the Research Journal of Soil Biology found that biochemical mechanisms of action of 10 different plant growth promoting rhizobacteria species also promoted plant growth from fertilizers. And these are my citations below. So the limitations from this experiment could have been that it was in an indoor environment versus an outdoor, more natural environment. I think that this could have definitely played into the role of why some of the flowers may have not sprouted, or why they didn't grow maybe as much as they could have. And I could have possibly used too much fertilizer as well. However, but with more research and practice, I think that could be learned and better in another experiment. Next time, I could also try watering the plants every day instead of every other day to see if that can make a difference. And I could also try another type of fertilizer, such as an organic fertilizer. And my conclusion is that I learned that fertilizer does not always speed up plant growth, but with more research and practice, it can be proven to be effective. Thank you.